Welcome to demo video number 4. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to populate the earnings record, the employee earnings record, based on the employees' information that we've been working with from Chapter 2. And remember that this is all weekly information or weekly pay periods, which it's going to be based on. So depending on if the person is married or single, you're going to go ahead and make sure you have the correct wage bracket you're utilizing. So, okay, Shelly, let's go ahead and read this first. Complete the federal withholding tax wage bracket method and state withholding tax columns of the employee earnings record for the 5 employees whose information was provided in Chapter 2. We're going to populate the earnings records. The state income tax withholdings rate is 5% of taxable pay. And with taxable pay being the same for federal and state income tax withholdings, additional information for each employee is provided below. So for Shelly, she makes a 401k retirement plan contribution of 8% of gross pay each period. So in this area, what I'm going to do is you're going to go ahead and insert information into these 2 squares here, these 2 cells. So we're going to go ahead and look at federal withholding tax, and we're going to do it on the wage bracket method. And remember, the wage bracket method is something like this. Okay, so I do not have this here in this area, but you're going to have to use the back of your book. And since I've already showed you how to go ahead and dictate the tax for each employee that I had demonstrated here, I'm not going to demonstrate that here, but you should be able to go and dictate where it is. The federal withholdings for Shelly is $10. Okay, basically what I did was I took $453.28 minus 8% of her gross pay. Okay, I arrived at $417.02, and I went into the married persons paid weekly. Look at the tier, the appropriate tier, and then the appropriate number of withholdings, and I got $10. Okay, for the state, I'm going to take her gross pay, subtract her gross pay times 0.08%, which is the retirement plan contribution. And I'm going to multiply that by 5%, which takes me to $28.85 for state withholding tax. So what I did was I basically took, and I'm going to go ahead and do this here, I took $453 and I multiplied by 8% to equal $417. Okay, so I took then the 453.28 minus the 3626 to arrive at 417.02. Okay, so I basically just took 417.02 times 5% for a total state tax of $20.85. So that's the exact same steps you're going to be taking for the subsequent employees that we're going to be calculating for. Okay, let's go ahead and do that for Don then. Okay, if you go ahead and look and dictate which table to use, Don's information or his federal tax is going to be 0. Okay, his state withholding tax, okay, I'm going to take his gross pay, subtract 100 times 0.5%, $11.69. Same concept as what I did up here. I just subtracted his participation in his cafeteria plan. Okay. For Alex, his federal income tax, if you go ahead and take those necessary steps, it's $182. State, once again, I'm going to go ahead and take his gross pay minus, he doesn't make any voluntary, so basically just times 0.5. 58.18. Okay, he didn't have any contributions. For Alex. Alex does not make any voluntary deductions. For Jason, if you go ahead and look at his stipulations for federal, it's going to be $6 that we have to take away or deduct. For state, we're going to take the gross pay minus 13%. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And my formula is wrong, so let's go ahead and, I think that's what that is. There we go. Okay. My parentheses was in the wrong spot, and make sure that you go ahead and make sure your parentheses are in the correct spot if you're going to be using Excel to calculate your calculations. Otherwise, you can do it separately and then just enter in the amounts in here. Okay, so what I did is I just basically took 5% of the gross pay, subtracted it from the gross pay, and then multiplied it by 5% for the state withholdings. Okay, because that's what they are obligated to, 5% of their gross pay. For Sam, he participates in a flexible spending account as well, and it's $50 per period. So if you go ahead and look at his stipulations or his restrictions, his federal income tax will be $78. And state income tax, okay, once again, I'm going to take the gross pay minus the gross pay times 0. It's just $50. There you go, times 0.05. So what I did for state, once again, I took his gross pay, subtract the $50 contribution that he makes to his flexible spending account, and I multiply that by the 5% that they are obligated to pay for the state withholdings tax. And they got $55.07. Okay. So, all right, here you go. That's the one for populating the employee earnings record based on federal and state withholdings. Next chapter, we're going to go ahead and populate the subsequent areas here, not necessarily all together, but we will eventually get everything done before this class ends. Good luck.